From closed-down casinos and islands to the incredible House of the Soviets, these are 10 strange, abandoned places around the world. Number 10. Trump Plaza Hotel and Casino, New Jersey. Maybe we should name this segment Atlantic City Boardwalk in general. It was considered the gambling capital of the East Coast. Not so much anymore. The city has suffered great losses, the gamblers and the casinos alike. Out of the 12 main casinos, 5 have shut down since 2006. The Atlantic Club, the Showboat, the Revel, Trump Plaza, and lastly, the Trump Taj Mahal. Trump Plaza opened its doors on May 14, 1984, and the casino was pretty successful for the most part. It even inspired a scene in the quintessential gambling film Casino. The Japanese high roller Akio Kashiwagi lost $10 million in a brutal baccarat session at the Trump Plaza. Since that day, the casino suffered from declining profits, competition from the nearby Trump Taj Mahal, and the 2008 financial meltdown was the final nail in the coffin. Oh yeah, they also legalized gambling in all surrounding states. That didn't help either. The property has been closed down with little hope of resurrection. At most, you will be ushered away by private security or the police if you try to get inside. I guess you could say the Trump Taj Mahal fared a bit better. Mr. Carl Icahn, who bought the failed Trump Entertainment Resorts out of bankruptcy, sold the 8th wonder of the world for pennies on the dollar. The property was worth only $50 million compared to the original $1.2 billion construction price. All in all, Atlantic City is not looking on the up and up. Caesars Entertainment has been in bankruptcy court since 2015 on their 3 major properties there. So sooner or later, there will be more closed doors and more urban decay to explore. Number 9. São Domingos Mines, Portugal. So this desolate open pit mine is located in the southern region of Portugal, very close to its border with Spain. Interestingly enough, it's claimed to be the first location in all of Portugal to have electric lighting. That should tell you that this deserted place is not a newcomer. Not by a long shot. The primary resource is sulfide ore, mainly copper zinc. It is known that even the Romans mined in the area. Major scale operations started in 1854, and by the time 1966 rolled around, there was not much left to mine. All in all, there was 25 megatons of product extracted from the open pit mine. In recent years, the São Domingos mine sites have become a tourist destination. You know, for those of us that love staring at things that used to be. Chances are, it will grow in popularity, someone will get seriously injured, there will be public outcry, the site will be taped off, whatever remains of the buildings will be destroyed, and this place will be forgotten by history. Probably. Number 8. The Packard Factory, Michigan. Speaking of being forgotten, how about the Packard Automotive plant in Detroit? All of the 3.5 million square feet were utilized to their fullest potential between 1903 and 1958, when the plant operated as an automobile manufacturing facility. Some of the buildings were actually operated by other businesses, but they eventually failed as well. The last tenant to leave was the Chemical Processing Company in 2010. Apart from feeling like you're in a post-apocalyptic world, the structural integrity of the buildings is solid reinforced concrete, so they aren't going anywhere anytime soon. The 40 acres, part of Detroit's east side, seem to be impossible to redevelop. In 2013, the starting bid was only $900,000, and no one even bothered. By the time the starting bid got to $21,000, the highest bidder failed to provide the money, the second highest bidder also failed, and then the stars aligned for a Spanish investor. He bought the property for only $405,000. And since then, silence. Number 7. St. Peter's Seminary, Scotland. So somewhere near Cardross in Scotland, you can stumble across a eerie abandoned Roman Catholic seminary, aka Catholic School. Judging by the pictures and listening to what experts from the Docomomo Architecture Organization have to say, this building is of big historical significance, and since 1980, it has been pillaged and defaced. Most of the time, when it was mentioned that there are efforts to restore something, it means nothing will ever change, but in this case, it looks like things are looking up. In the end, it's important to remember, have fun and take care. Number 6. The Haludovo Palace Hotel, Croatia. This dilapidated hotel and club can be found on the Croatian island of Krk. K-R-K. Krk. Okay. It's actually the most populous island in the Adriatic Sea. As it turns out, what we are looking at is the Penthouse Adriatic Club, where gorgeous women served you drinks while you enjoyed the cool breeze and that beautiful 1970s music. Chances are this place didn't really make an impression on a lot of people, considering it only managed to stay open for about 1 year. Yikes. Being a teenager around this building must be amazing. Can you imagine how much time you can spend inside the empty rooms and hallways, or what kind of shenanigans you can get into while enjoying the empty pools? I wonder how many bonfires they have on the roof, and how many worried mothers tell their kids on a daily basis, "Don't you dare go to that abandoned hotel." Did you have a favorite abandoned hangout spot when you were a kid? Somewhere you weren't supposed to be at, but always ended up there? Number 5. North Wilkesboro Speedway, North Carolina. Apart from being known as the Moonshine Capital of America, North Wilkesboro and Wilkes County didn't have much to offer until the construction of a short track that was utilized by NASCAR. That track was actually used a lot during the 50s, 60s, and 70s, but gradually faded into obscurity, and by 1996, it was no longer open. But it seems like this racetrack is still of interest to some racing teams, even if it's just for practice. The current owners have tried and tried and tried to revive the track, and apart from a short stint in 2010, it hasn't been done yet. It looks like it's strictly off limits though, so it's one of those places you have to admire from afar. Number 4. Spinalonga Creek. Something to think about. How many leprosy colonies do you think are still active? For centuries, leprosy was a death sentence with the added brutality of being taken away from your loved ones. Nowadays, not so much, and yet there are a few colonies that still operate. Surprisingly, one is located on US soil in Hawaii. As you might have guessed, Spinalonga was also a leper colony. The island has a rich history spanning hundreds of years. Strangely enough, it wasn't even an island to begin with. It was connected to the mainland of Crete, but, you know, war and stuff. It was decided it would serve better as a fortification island. The last resident of the island left in 1962. You can visit the place and experience its history by checking out the old fortress and much more. Number 3. The Prague-Visegrad Station, Czech Republic. Alright, this one gets cool points for looks alone. The building served as a railway station in Prague for a long time. Using Google Street View, you can see a dude with a mini ladder walking around the building, but I doubt it had anything to do with the building. Oh snap, wait, uh-oh, where did he go? Here one frame, gone the next. This might be a rabbit hole we do not want to go down in. In 2008, part of the property was illegally demolished. The company was fined and everyone calmed down. Until 2009, when a gang of squatters moved from their old squatting spot called Villa Milata, but that problem was also short-lived as well. Number 2. Presidio Modelo, Cuba. The model prison. Such a popular spot for rebels that it even housed the likes of Fidel and Raul Castro. The prison was originally meant to house around 2,500 prisoners in what was considered humane conditions during the 30s in Cuba. Well, by the time 1961 rolled around, there were more than 4,000 prisoners staring at each other from across the circular building. Obviously, there were many riots and hunger strikes. Ultimately, the prison shut down in 1967. The buildings are now part of a museum, and you can explore almost everything. Number 1. The House of Soviets, Kaliningrad. At our number 1 spot, we have the House of Soviets in Kaliningrad, a complete failure of a building that was never officially used. Kaliningrad, by the way, is part of Russia. Weird. The area was originally occupied by the Königsberg Castle. This is how the castle looked before 1944, and this is how it looked after. Yeah, So the Soviets decided to build a big, beautiful square robot-looking building in its place, and boy did they succeed. Except for the fact, that the land underneath was not able to support such a large structure. After 15 years of construction, the local Communist Party committee ran out of interest and funding for the project. So what happened? Nothing. This building still stands to this day. It did get a fancy new paint job in 2005 though. What do you think? Should they destroy it, fix it, or leave it alone? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to World on Earth for more incredible content, and check out the video coming up next. See you there.